I was personally thrown out of 3 different countries in Southeast Asia. Personally. I was thrown out of Hong Kong. I was thrown out of South Vietnam. And, gee, I can't remember. I think I was thrown out of Thailand too.
Back from war.
Pretty bad. The rioting that was going on and the anti-war sit-ins and stuff that were going on. Of course, they accused us all of being baby killers and everything else. The problem being is that they weren't getting the right information and news. So they really couldn't understand it. When you're in a war, unless you're there, everything else is just hearsay to everybody else. And unless you witness it and see what's going on, you can only understand it that way. You learn to either like what you're doing or understand what you're doing, or you become angry and you want to get out of there and go home. But we faced a lot of ugliness when we got home, just because they accused us of, I guess you'd call them war crimes today, which we were only doing what our leaderships told us to do. I would say probably my second tour, the government changed their ways and they wanted to be more aggressive in trying fighting the war. So we got targets that were critical targets, which were unfortunately killing more people and things like that. For a person who flies, either the Air Force or the Marine flyers or the Navy flyers, when you fire your weapons or rockets, a lot of times you don't see the damage and destruction you're doing or the people that you're killing. You don't actually see that until you land at a fire base or you're called into a hot LZ to pick people up. Then you start seeing your devastation that you're causing. So sometimes you really learn to hate it.
The worst thing about it was even the Vietnamese guards wanted to get on the helicopters. So the helicopters were really, really, really crowded. And there was a couple of times when we were hovering in ground effect all the way out to the ship, and we didn't think we were going to be able to pull enough rotor speed to get up onto the aircraft carrier itself. So they were talking about throwing people over the side. But from a helicopter, it doesn't matter. I volunteered, but they said, no, you have to stay. But we did get up on board. We didn't have to throw anybody over the side.
When we were called into a hot LZ because Marines or the Army was shot up, we'd get as many wounded as 16 men at a time and fly back to a secure fire base, and they would come out with hoses and buckets and hose out all the blood and everything and head us off again to go back out. I had been on Marble Mountain, I had been in Operation Starlight, I had been in probably 5 major incidents that took place. I'm not an anti-war person. I believe if you're going to want freedom, there's always somebody who wants to take it away from you. And in that case, yes, you have war. I still fight with the problems. I get mad when I have to go to the VA and get treatment for my injuries and stuff. But if I didn't have the loving wife that I have today, I probably wouldn't be here. And I'll let you figure out what that means.
Until I was 37, the operation went on when I was 24, but until I was 37, the people I killed used to come and talk to me while I slept. So what I would do is I would drink enough, and if I drank enough, they didn't come and talk to me. I didn't remember them. But in 1990, I injured my brain with a motorcycle accident. and they haven't come and talked to me since then. So I also gave up drinking. So it's a good thing. It was a win-win situation.
What was like the hardest part about the war, do you think? In your opinion?
Not getting shot.
Staying alive.
That was the hardest thing I ever did. Actually, the hardest thing I ever did was graduate boot camp at Paris Island.
The service will take you, break you down to nothing, and build you back up the way they want you to. And they have to do that, because that's the only way you're going to survive.
Paris Island was a lot of fun. I recommend it. I'm not going. I didn't leave anything there. I'm not going back.
I think the most popular thing was drinking.
Yes, excessive amounts of drinking.
Unfortunately, a lot of us came back with drinking problems.